Live from Ball State University. News for the campus community and all of Delaware County. This is NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening and welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Evan Zabel.
And I'm Mackenzie Clark. Thank you for joining us. One of Ball State's football players will not be playing in the upcoming game. Casey Miller explains why.
Yeah, that's right, Mackenzie. A bit of bad news for the Ball State football team. A BSU defensive back will not play in this weekend's game against Army. Sophomore Darius Conaway was arrested for operating while intoxicated late Saturday night. Conaway, who is only 20 years old, had a blood alcohol content of .086, which is above the legal driving limit. According to the police report, Conaway was pulled over at the intersection of Linden and Rex Streets with 6 passengers in a 5-person vehicle. Conaway participated in all 4 of the Ball State Cardinals' first games of the season, recording 11 total tackles in those games. Conaway has been suspended for 2 games following his arrest.
And the director of the Secret Service has stepped down after security breaches happened on her watch.
Julia Pearson submitted her resignation to Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson earlier this afternoon, and he accepted it. Jim Acosta has the details.
After a string of astounding failures at the Secret Service, President Obama and Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson accepted the resignation of the agency's embattled director, Julia Pearson.
They both agreed with that assessment because of the recent and accumulating reports that raise legitimate questions about the performance of the agency.
It was a stunning turn of events for Pearson, who had the backing of the White House just this morning.
The president and everybody here at the White House stand solidly behind all of the men and women of the Secret Service, including the director of the Secret Service.
Last month's fence jumper was not the only breach to shock the White House. During a presidential visit to the CDC in September, a security contractor armed with a gun rode an elevator with Mr. Obama, a blatant violation of Secret Service protocol, a lapse the White House didn't know about until 24 hours ago. Did Director Pearson brief the president on that incident?
Jim, I can tell you that the White House first learned of that incident yesterday afternoon, shortly before it was reported by, before it was publicly reported by a news organization.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you so much.
When the president tapped Pearson to become the first female director of the Secret Service 18 months ago, her mission was to fix the agency's culture.
He's breaking the mold in terms of directors of the agencies, and I think that people are all extraordinarily proud of her. I couldn't be placing our lives in better hands than Julia's.
Retired Secret Service agent Joseph Clancy has been named the agency's interim director until a permanent replacement is named. As for Julia Pearson, she told Bloomberg News that it's painful to leave the Secret Service at this time because she says she had a vision for its future.
A federal judge has dismissed a civil suit filed by Lauren Spears' parents. The parents filed a negligence lawsuit against 2 men who were with Spear the night she went missing in Bloomington. A 20-page ruling, the judge wrote that Spears failed to provide sufficient evidence to prove that the 2 men owed Spear a duty of care. Spear was a fashion merchandise major at Indiana University until she disappeared on June 3, 2011.
The death of a 22-month-old boy at an apartment complex in Gary, Indiana, has been declared a homicide. The Lake County Coroner's Office ruled that Brandon Dillon died of blunt force trauma and was pronounced dead at 1:10 p.m. on Tuesday. Gary Police Corporal Gabriel King told the Times of Munster that officers were called to the apartment building for a report of a disturbance about an hour prior to his death. The Post-Tribune says the victim's mother, his twin sister, and a younger sibling were inside the apartment when the police arrived.
The first diagnosed case of Ebola in the United States is now in isolation at the hospital in Dallas. Health officials are trying to keep the public as calm as possible as they track down anyone else who might have been exposed. Polo Sandoval is in Dallas with the latest.
A man who contracted the Ebola virus flew from Liberia to the United States last month, but federal health officials say the people on his flight are not at risk.
Ebola doesn't spread before someone gets sick, and he didn't get sick till 4 days after he got off the airplane. So we do not believe there's any risk to anyone who was on the flight at that time.
The White House released this infographic Tuesday as it and the CDC downplayed any threat of transmission.
Ebola is not a very contagious disease. It's very deadly and very scary, but it's not contagious. It really only spreads through blood and body fluid, and only when you're symptomatic.
Even so, the ambulance that was used to transport the patient has been pulled out of circulation. Its crew has been isolated, even though officials say they did take proper precautions and adequately decontaminated the ambulance. The patient has been isolated at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas as the CDC checks to see if he might have infected anyone when he was showing symptoms.
Once those contacts are all identified, they are all monitored for 21 days after exposure to see if they developed fever.
If they do, the CDC will investigate whether they might have infected anyone as well.
And the latest update from the health officials now suggests that the infected man remains in critical condition and is still in isolation in the Texas hospital. As for the CDC, the main priority will be to track down the small amount of people who had close contact with the infected man after he began to exhibit some of the virus's symptoms.
eBay is spinning off its online payment service, PayPal, as a separate company. The online auction giant says creating a separate company makes financial sense. The movie isn't a huge surprise. Wall Street analysts and investors have urged eBay to make the move for some time now. The company expects the change to be completed by the second half of next year. PayPal started an independent company, then eBay bought it in 2002 for $1.5 billion. Now PayPal accounts for $1 in every $6 spent online.
A shipwreck that recently has been discovered in the Arctic Ocean is believed to be 170 years old. Canada's Prime Minister claims the wreckage is what's left from the HMS Erebus, which was lost under the command of an unsuccessful British Northwest voyage. The ship is one of two that were lost and have been diligently sought after by marine archaeologists. Both ships were last seen in 1814 and have made their way into books and songs since their disappearance. The ship was found near Kings William's Island, 6 meters below the water's surface.
And you know, Mackenzie, I wake up in the morning and I need to put like jeans on to get outside, and it's a little bit chilly, but then I come out of class and I'm sweating in the afternoon.
I just want to know what's going on. So Cody Bailey, what is going on in the world of weather? Help us out.
Well, we did have a gloomy start this morning. We did warm up though to a high of 71, right on track for our average of 71. And then a low of 41 now as we go throughout the rest of the week. A big cool down is in store as changes have arrived tomorrow, with rain chances and then cool weather this weekend, talking highs only in the 50s. I'll talk more about that coming up in my full forecast a little later on in the show.
The Muncie Children's Museum will soon be taking on a new look.
And let's find out what students think about the new pizza place in the atrium coming up.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
This is NewsLink Indiana.
Michael Dunn has been found guilty of first-degree murder in the 2012 shooting death of 17-year-old Jordan Davis.
And a middle school kicker has been benched for her gender. Cece Lucia is the kicker for her middle school, St. Simon in Indianapolis. After making 2 kicks in her debut, the Indianapolis Catholic Youth Organization told her coach that if she played again, the team would have to forfeit. The CYO has rules that prevents girls from playing with football with boys. In 2010, Lindsay Overstreet was prevented from playing football at Our Lady of Greenwood. Lucia has received notes of encouragement from Colts punter Pat McAfee and Katie Hinda, the first woman to score a punt in the NCAA division.
Muncie residents have been attending the Downtown Children's Museum since it opened in 1996. Throughout the years, the building has gone through multiple exhibit changes, but in the near future, the museum will undergo its largest construction project for a brand new exhibit. NewsLink Indiana's Robert Connett has more.
Exhibit.
Sometimes I check people out and sometimes I shop.
But in the future, kids and parents might have a new favorite part of the Children's Museum. The museum was one of over 120 public places that was awarded a specific federal grant after applying for it last year. Kenda Rinker, the managing director at the museum, says the plan for a new nature exhibit and to apply for a grant that would help pay for the exhibit has been in the works for some time.
We wrote it in December of 2013. So in that particular year, we're focusing on STEM projects. And so we thought this matched nicely with that, and which is why we applied.
Kenda says the museum is currently under phase 3 of the project, where they're doing more fundraisers to raise more money. But in phase 4, in about a year, this part of the museum will be under construction in order for it to make it look like this.
Basically to the front of from the front of the museum all the way back to the staircase, which is, I believe it's roughly a little over 2,000 square feet.
The new exhibit will have multiple features, including a nature center, a lookout center, and a weather station. Once construction begins, the plan is to wall off the left side of the museum, but have visitors still be able to see the progress, similar to what they did a few years ago with a different project.
The entire time that was under construction, which that took about 18 months, and we had that area walled off, but the kids could look at the construction as it went on, so you were still learning some things. I mean, obviously they didn't get to interact with the exhibit.
Rinker says she wouldn't be surprised if the number of visitors might decrease during the construction period next year, but hopes that when the new exhibit opens by 2016, it will attract more visitors to the museum. In Muncie, Robert Connett, NewsLink, Indiana.
As for the current attendance of the museum, Rinker says they have not totaled numbers for this yet quarter, but believes that it is lower than other times of the year, which is normal for August and September, as school field trips usually do not begin until later in the semester.
Students will be gathering Friday morning for the 19th annual Fall News Roundup. Here's Sierra Gillespie with more.
Will gather this Friday in the David Letterman and Arts and Journalism building to listen to professional journalists speak. There will be many different sessions for students to attend. Junior Raymond Garcia says he is ready to learn something new.
This will be my first year going to the Fall News Roundup, and I'm excited to see and hear all the speakers and what they have to say about their experience in the journalism field.
Students can attend the session Friday between 10 and 2 p.m.
Megan Melton has tonight's quick question. Megan?
Hi, Megan Melton here with NewsLink Indiana's Quick Question segment. Better ingredients, better pizza. The slogan towers over everyone who waits in line to test the newest addition to the atrium. Papa John's opened this Tuesday, and the atrium has been pretty busy. So today's quick question is, what do you think of Papa John's? Let's see what your fellow Cardinals had to say today on Quick Question.
I really like that we now have Papa John's because I really like pizza. I also think the atrium is a really good spot for it.
I wouldn't expect going to the line for it to taste like Papa John's, so that you would order from the restaurant. It's pizza, tastes good, but it's not great, not horrible. It's definitely better than Sbarro's was, though.
Right now I'm not about it because it's new and everyone's like, oh, I gotta go to Papa John's, and I'm just like, I'm about to wait an hour and a half for like a 6-inch pizza.
There you have it. This is usually the part where I put in a pizza pun, but that'd be too cheesy. Well, for NewsLink Indiana's Quick Question, I'm Megan Melton. Back to you.
Our once smallest planet might be making a comeback.
And you might want to break out your rain boots over the weekend. Find out more after the break.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
This is NewsLink Indiana.
Pluto is a planet once again, according to debate at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. In 2006, Pluto was demoted from planet to dwarf planet by the International Astronomical Union. 3 standards were put into place to determine what a planet was. Pluto did not make the cut to be a planet in our solar system. During the debate, astronomers and the audience members advocated for Pluto's reinstatement. The strongest argument for the audience came from the director of Harvard's planetary program. Planets are the smallest lump of matter that are formed around stars or stellar remnants. The Harvard debate audience voted to reinstate Pluto as a planet.
And as I said before the break, we're looking at possibly showers this weekend. Got to bring out those rain boots once again.
Unfortunately, I'm not looking forward to it. Cody, make the rain go away.
Unfortunately, rain is going to stick around the forecast for the next few days at least. But first, we're going to take a look outside from this morning. A time lapse outside of Sursa Hall shows that dense fog earlier this morning causing low visibilities, but it quickly burned off. We saw plenty of sunshine and temperatures actually warmed up to 71 degrees for a high today. Currently, though, in Muncie, we're down to 59. Clear skies, winds are out of the southeast at 6 miles per hour. Temperatures across the nation, 60s in the heartland. We're in the 40s over in the Rockies. But back closer to home, again, we're at 59 here in Muncie. Other locations around the state, 69, the warm spot right now in Indianapolis, 64 in Lafayette, and 68 down to the south in Bloomington. We're going to bottom out into the 50s later on tonight. Nothing in the area right now, but as we look over to the west, this is what's going to affect us later on tomorrow, throughout the day, and then especially on Friday into parts of Saturday as well. As we take a look at precision cast, it'll show that as we go throughout the overnight tonight. You wake up tomorrow, 8, 9 a.m., we're going to see some showers here in the west central part of the state. If we move this in forward, you can see some scattered showers during the afternoon. We'll see a break in the action before more rain comes in later on tomorrow night. Overnight, though, that's when this cold front will come through, bringing with it showers and storms throughout the area. Continuing into the Friday afternoon time frame, we'll see a break again, possibly some more scattered showers as we go throughout Friday and Friday night, and then another round possibly on Saturday. Not too many models picking up on this, but we do have a chance. Now, severe weather not going to be a big impact on us. Slight risk is for the western part of the state. I think we could see a strong storm or two, but nothing to be concerned about. Your forecast for tonight, though, increasing clouds ahead of those showers coming into the area. A low tonight of 55 degrees, winds out of the southeast at 5 miles per hour. If you're taking the kids out to school tomorrow, your bus stop forecast could see a few showers at the bus stop tomorrow morning. 55 when you wake up, 79 at 3 p.m. with a few showers possible, and then we'll reach a high of 81 degrees tomorrow with showers off and on. The better chance Thursday night into Friday, 68 for a high on Friday. And then take a look at the weekend. Temperatures only in the 50s for highs, 52 on Saturday, and then look at Saturday night, 37 for a low, then back into the upper 50s on Sunday with another chance of rain into Sunday and Monday, and then cooler weather again to begin next week. And a fun fact, weather fact, our first average frost for Muncie roughly occurs on October 5th, and October 5th is Sunday. So could see some patchy frost on Sunday morning when we wake up.
Gotta dig out the winter clothes, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost winter time.
Brr, brr, brr. And after the break, one Ball State golfer is receiving an award. Find out who. And will the Colts take another hit because of an injured player? Stay tuned.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
This is NewsLink Indiana.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. Once again, I'm Casey Miller. Let's take you on a tour of the sporting world. And we'll start here at Ball State. Men's golfer McCormick Clouser was named the Mid-American Conference Co-Golfer of the Week. Clouser finished first in the Fighting Irish Golf Classic that wrapped up yesterday. Clouser's 54-hole score of 4 under par was a career low for the senior golfer. The Bluffton native opened the tournament with a 5 under round of 66. This week's award marks the 3rd time in his career that Clouser was named the Co-Golfer of the Week. As a team, the Cardinals placed 2nd in the Fighting Irish Classic. Ball State is back in action next week at the Firestone Invitational in Akron, Ohio. And there's a bit more bad news for the Indianapolis Colts. Starting offensive guard Jack Mewhort has been ruled out for Sunday's game against the Ravens. The rookie lineman started the first 4 games of the season for the Colts. Second-year guard Hugh Thornton will take over at right guard as Lance Lewis moves to the left side. Mewhort was the Colts' first pick in the 2014 draft, taken 59th from The Ohio State University. The Colts are also dealing with the loss of LaRon Landry, who was suspended Monday after violating the NFL's PED policy. And let's wrap things up on the high school volleyball court. We had 3A number 2 Delta hosting 4A number 10 Hamilton Southeastern. In the first set point for Delta, the Royals' Caitlin Kane just can't get to the ball, and the Eagles take the first set 25-23. Then in the second, Delta's Audrey Wooden with a big kill with the set from Kelsey Rowe. Delta wins the second 25-21, but HSE wasn't done. Campbell's attack is blocked by Elena Edadua, and the Royals win set 3. Then in the fourth, Rowe comes up with a nice save for the Eagles, but Hamilton Southeastern, with a nice touch from Hayden Hubers, evens the score, and we go to a 5th set. Here we go, match point for Delta. The set from Rowe, and Wooden records the kill off the net. Delta wins the set and the match. It's Eagles over the Royals 3-2. And with that win, Delta moves to 20-2 on the season. The Eagles now prepare for the start of the Delaware County Volleyball Tournament. The Eagles will begin the tournament against Wapahani, which is the host of the event. That match begins tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
Well, hopefully they can carry that strong. I mean, that's a great lead into this next tournament.
Yeah, the Delta volleyball team right now is playing over the moon. They are over the moon, even over Pluto. Over Pluto, our new
over the star. No,
once again
planet.
redeemed planet.
Well, coming up next, find out what big name from the country music industry will be coming to campus.
And what comic book for the first time has a female as the lead character. All this and more after the break.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
This is NewsLink Indiana.
Welcome to NewsLink Entertainment. I'm Sierra Gillespie. Tomorrow night, Emmons Auditorium hosts an evening with Johnny Mathis. Mathis is a vocalist for Columbia Records. Mathis is the longest-running artist for Columbia Records, having been in the music industry for 59 years. Over his time, Mathis has recorded more than 80 albums, including 6 Christmas albums. Tickets range from $37 to $77. The show starts at 7:30. Today marks a turning point in the comic book history. The comic book Thor #1 was released earlier today. The book features a female Thor for the first time in Marvel's history. Writer Jason Aaron says the change has been in the works for a few years now, and this would be a long-term change to the character. The first book explains how the original male became unworthy of the hammer and is replaced by the female Thor. Aaron is making an appearance this weekend at local comic book store Alter Ego Comics located on Adams Street. Adams will be signing comic books and answering questions from noon until 4. That's all for NewsLink Entertainment. Back to you guys.
So Cody, what can we expect for weather?
Rain tomorrow and tomorrow night into Friday, then much cooler weather for the weekend.
And that's all for NewsLink tonight. Be sure to watch tomorrow at 9 p.m. right here on Cardinal Vision.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a great evening.